Hey there, hikers and bikers. Rusty Miner coming at you with another knife review. Today, as my dog has his squirrel treat, we're going to take a look at the Kizer Grazioso. The Grazioso is designed by Sherif Manganas, and I did some research on him, and he's into his ideas to use the most efficient use of materials. So we're going to talk about some things about this knife. We'll go ahead and get started. First of all, it's got a brown linen micarta, and already this one's taken in some of my oils from my hand. So we'll talk more about that in a second, but I think it might have been advertised as green. It's definitely more brown. We have brass bolsters here, nice and shiny, and they fit well. They're very seamless here. Nice pivot collar, nice pocket clip. I do like. All right, sorry about that, got distracted. Back to that pocket clip, as I was saying, nice pocket clip, pretty deep carry, if you get an idea here. And then the flat recessed screws. One thing I don't like though is this part here. It is good for ramp up, but I wish it'd flatten off there. When you go to flip this thing, I don't know if you can see that. It's not super pointy, but it does kind of catch on you. Has T8s on the pivot and T6s everywhere else. The good news is, it seems like it's clean. I haven't taken it apart. Flipper, so we'll take a look at that. Follows right off of the bolster there. It does have some jimping. Now it feels like it's hard, but it's really just a strong detent. But makes that knife fly out. Of course, one of my favorite is a recurve. This has a nice little recurve in here. We're looking at N690 blade steel and a harpoon style blade, which I also happen to like the look of that, if you see that swedge on there. So take a look at the back. We're going to have the maker's mark, and it looks like maybe a serial number. So well, let's take a look at the lockup there. Yeah, that's about perfect, really. I really like the Kizer knives. So with it, you know, it doesn't drop shut on its own. You can disso if you give it a little help. It drops. And then one thing, this thing has bit me a couple times because I have this sort of habit of pulling the knife forward as I lock it. And if I do that in the upright position, it's swung around almost like freely, and it's caught me right there more than once. I'm a slow learner. So anyways, I did come relatively sharp. I would like to put another edge on here. It's cutting good, but I don't know. I think I'd like to take it. I think it's in that 20-degree range, and I'd like to take it down to the 17. I think the N690 steel can handle a 17-degree, and I think the blade's appropriately thin. Oh, one last thing. Bronze back spacer. No, brass, excuse me. And that one it's starting to patina already. Stick around for the end of this video. I'm going to show you some brass from World War II, so you can see what 70-year-old brass looks like and how it's going to match up with this linen micarta here, this brown micarta. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hey guys, I wanted to go over just a couple more things about the Grazioso. One, the ergonomics. As you can see, very nice ergonomics. Nice jimping, extends out, and of course the harpoon blade. And we have a nice forward position works really well. You get your finger in the choil as well as on the bolster, and that works good. And then your finger goes on the jimping or even forward, so you can get some, leverage out of your knife. And then secondly, I wanted to talk about that brass I mentioned. So here we have some World War II. That's a 50 caliber that came from World War II. Primer's been bored out. You can take the bullet out itself, but someday this brass might look like this brass. We can do that prematurely, and I might try to do that, but I do think that the colors here, what we're looking at then for this handle, especially after it soaks up some oil, it's going to have a very distinguished looking knife as it ages. So I just wanted to kind of show that to you guys. Thanks now.